The Urantia book. In paper 53, this was a Lanonandek rebellion. The higher orders of local universe sonship did not join the Lucifer secession, although a few of the life carriers stationed on the rebel planets were somewhat influenced by the rebellion of the disloyal princes. Life carriers are a medium to high order of sonship. Life carriers, one of the parents of the life carriers, are one of the ancients of days, the super universe rulers. And there's 100,000 local universes in a super universe. The life carriers implant life on human evolutionary worlds. Spirit beings, medium to high spirit sons in a local universe who implant life on a given human evolutionary sphere, such as Urantia. That's the name given to this one. Urantia. In the Urantia book. So, 2.5 billion years ago, life was implanted on this planet by the life carriers in terms of vegetable-like matter, put in 3 different locations in the I think they say edges of the oceans somewhere at that time. In the Urantia book, they say to the level of Lanonandek, the constellation rulers. From that order of sonship up, no beings go astray whatsoever. So then after the Lanonandek is when rebellion can occur, in theory, and they say some life carriers were influenced. None of the life carriers actually went into rebellion. Many Lanonandeks did and have. The Melchizedeks, archangels, and the brilliant evening stars were all loyal to Michael. The greatest loss occurred in the angelic ranks, but most of the lower orders of intelligence were involved in disloyalty. Large numbers of midway creatures were lost. There are details to all this in here. In terms of which beings went into rebellion, the noble Jerusalem band was 187,432,811 was the number of Jerusalem citizens, those human evolutionary will beings who had fused with their thought adjuster, another topic, and were awaiting to go on the ascension, the ascension path from that point. The Son of Man on Urantia Paper 53, Section 8. The bestowal of Michael terminated the Lucifer rebellion and all Satania, aside from the planets of the apostate planetary princes. So, Michael of Nebadon, the creator, maker, ruler of this local universe of Nebadon, bestowed himself on this planet as Jesus of Nazareth, and he gained the sovereignty of the universe of his own making by his seventh bestowal amongst the creatures of his own making, living as Jesus of Nazareth. For Michael of Nebadon was his seventh bestowal. Another topic, a long story. It's in the Urantia book. And that at that point, he's a sovereign, a spirit being sovereign. So that his life as Jesus of Nazareth effectively ended the rebellion in his universe of Nebadon, in this system of Satania, except for the apostate worlds. 36, I think they say like 36 out of 606 planets at the time, evolutionary human will-being planets, just like Urantia. Urantia, this planet, was one of the 36 where the Planetary Prince went into rebellion with Lucifer. But at that point, after Jesus of Nazareth, after his crucifixion, death, and resurrection, at some time after that, soon after that, all these matters are now in or go into the spiritual courts. So the apostate planetary princes of the other 35 human evolutionary planets are in whatever stage of court hearings they're in. Might be none. The last act of Michael before leaving Urantia was to offer mercy to Caligastia, and Dalagastia is the name they give to Caligastia's first assistant. But they spurned his tender offer. Caligastia, your apostate planetary prince, in quotes, the devil. So as far as like normal human evolutionary lore or information, for this planet Urantia, general information that's known on this earth, aside from the Urantia book, the devil, in quotes, would be Caligastia. That's who they would ascribe the name of the devil to. Caligastia is still free. Caligastia, your apostate planetary prince, is still free on Urantia to prosecute his nefarious designs, but he has absolutely no power to enter the minds of men. Neither can he draw near to their souls to tempt or corrupt them, unless they really desired to be cursed with his wicked presence. On my magisterial bestowal, my avonal bestowal, currently, as a man born of woman, I, as a magisterial avonal son, on this planet right now, after my life in the flesh, after my life as a human evolutionary will being on this planet, sometime soon after that, Caligastia will be removed from this sphere and put in a prison world, a spiritual prison world. In general, when weak and dissolute mortals are supposed to be under the influence of devils and demons, they are merely being dominated by their own inherent and debased tendencies. The devil has been given a great deal of credit for evil, which does not belong to him. Caligastia has been comparatively impotent since the cross of Christ. This is a sentence in the Urantia book. So the Urantia book says, during the life of Melchizedek, Melchizedek was on this planet as a full-grown adult, roughly 2,000 years before Jesus. And after Melchizedek left this earth, much of the power of Caligastia was curtailed because Melchizedek is a higher son than the Lanonandeks in a local universe. And so after his life here, Melchizedek's life here is Machivena Melchizedek, much of Caligastia's power to do evil was curtailed. And then after the life of Jesus of Nazareth, Caligastia's ability to influence anything is tremendously curtailed. They say that in the Urantia book, they say spirit possession, real spirit possession, like an evil spirit taking over a human body and doing things, could be done prior to the life of Jesus of Nazareth, specifically prior to Pentecost. So Jesus of Nazareth, when he was on this planet, in the Urantia book, it's mentioned at least once or twice that he came across a human being, once or twice or whatever the number is, who was going through actual spirit possession of an evil spirit of some kind, a lower level evil spirit possessing a human being on Urantia, on this planet. And so it could happen. Since Pentecost, the spirit of truth, the spirit of Michael of Lebanon, Jesus of Nazareth, given to this world, spread throughout this world, on this world, that spirit of truth, because of that and other things, maybe, I don't know, whatever, but no spirit possession can happen in that way. No evil spirit can take over a human on this planet in that fashion. Section 9, present status of the rebellion. Satan was allowed to make periodic visits to the apostate princes. On the fallen worlds until another son of God should be accepted by such apostate worlds. Or until such time as the courts of Uversa should begin the adjudication of the case of Gabriel versus Lucifer. So Satan was allowed to make periodic visits to the apostate princes on the apostate worlds, the worlds that went into rebellion, the fallen worlds, the 36 total out of 606 fallen worlds in this system of Satania, until another son of God, such as myself, as a magisterial Avonal son, should be accepted by such apostate worlds. They could be referring to bestowals on those worlds. I, as a magisterial avonal son, prior to this life, after this life, after my life in the flesh, I would do bestowal missions on human evolutionary will-being planets similar to Urantia in Nebanon, the universe of my assignment. 10 million. There are 10 million potential inhabitable, to be inhabited, potential inhabitable worlds in a local universe. So there's roughly 1,000 per system, 10,000 systems. But this book is talking about just those fallen worlds in the system of Satania. And so until a son of God should be accepted on such apostate worlds, they're not saying whether that's a magisterial mission and or a bestowal mission on that planet. I, as a magisterial avonal son, have done, will do magisterial missions where I go to a human evolutionary sphere, specifically, perhaps, some one or others of these fallen worlds as a magisterial mission. A magisterial mission, I would go to that world as a full-grown adult of the sphere. I would show up on that planet as a full-grown adult of the sphere, and do a magisterial mission. Much is involved with that, or a bestowal son. As a bestowal son on a sphere, specifically one of those fallen worlds, I, as a male child born of woman, growing to adulthood and doing a bestowal mission as a magisterial avonal son on that planet. If they're referring to either a magisterial mission or a bestowal mission on a planet, then when that is completed and accepted by such an apostate world in the overall sense, then Satan would not be allowed to make his periodic visits to the fallen apostate princes on those worlds. Satan could come to Urantia because you had no son of standing in residence, neither planetary prince nor material son. At the time of the presentation of these revelations, the Urantia book, this book, there occurred the first hearing of Gabriel's plea for the annihilation of the archrebels. Satan is now unqualifiedly detained on the Jerusalem prison worlds, plural, prison worlds. So that's where, after my life, soon thereafter, Caligastia will also be sent to, detained on the Jerusalem prison worlds. Rebellion has ended on Jerusalem. It ends on the fallen worlds as fast as divine sons arrive, such as myself. The rebellion has ended on Jerusalem, the system capital of Satania, here in this system. It ends on the fallen worlds, those apostate worlds, as soon as a divine son arrives, in visible form to the humans of the realm, I believe is what they're saying there. So we await the flashing broadcast that will deprive these traitors of personality existence. We anticipate the verdict of Uversa, the super universe capital, 100,000 local universes in a super universe, will be announced by the executionary broadcast, which will effect the annihilation of these interned rebels. All await the Uversa decree. Presented by Lanonandek Melchizedek. So not very often do they get specific about the authors in this book. The authors for each paper, usually they will give a general name for the author, but here they want to say for a reason, they must have a reason why the paper about the Lucifer rebellion, they want to say was done by this one specific Melchizedek, not Machiventa Melchizedek, who is the planetary prince in waiting for this planet Urantia, but Lanonandek Melchizedek, another Melchizedek, a single individual Melchizedek of the Melchizedek order of sonship, the highest order of sonship in a local universe, specifically in this local universe of Nebanon. Paper 54, Problems of the Lucifer Rebellion. Oh, my. (54) 4.2. Parents, those who have born and reared children, are better able to understand why Michael, a creator father, might be slow to condemn and destroy his own sons. So Michael is the creator father of Lucifer, Satan, Caligastia, other Lanonandeks. He is the direct creator of the Lanonandek order of sonship. Section 3, the time lag of justice. For a reason, there is a time lag of justice for these spiritual rebels for a reason. The mercy time lag. Notwithstanding the long delay, as time is reckoned on Urantia, in adjudicating the Lucifer rebellion, we may record that during the time of effecting this revelation, the first hearing in the pending case of Gabriel versus Lucifer was held on Uversa. And soon thereafter, there issued the mandate of the Ancients of Days, directing that Satan be henceforth confined to the prison world with Lucifer. The wisdom of delay. Many reasons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's a lot of information in here in the Urantia book about this on Jerusalem. the personal representative of the Supreme Executive of Orphanton, counseled Gabriel to foster full opportunity for every living creature to mature a deliberate choice in those matters involved in the Lucifer Declaration of Liberty. They give much information in here, much information here. They describe it fully. Section 6, the triumph of love. With the passing of 25,000 years of system time since the Lucifer rebellion, 20,000 years of Urantia time, the Melchizedeks began to teach that the good resulting from Lucifer's folly had come to equal the evil incurred. Oh. There's a line in the book about time in terms of Urantia time, paradise time, Urantia time. So in paper 54, section 5, paragraph 13, in the section in here on the wisdom of delay, time, even in a universe of time, is relative. If a Urantia mortal of average length of life should commit a crime which precipitated worldwide pandemonium, and if he were apprehended, tried, and executed within 2 or 3 days of the commission of the crime, would it seem a long time to you? So that's the comparison they're using for the Lucifer rebellion. The relative lapse of time from the viewpoint of Urantia, where the litigation is pending, could be indicated by saying that the crime of Lucifer was being brought to trial within 2.5 seconds of its commission. So Urantia is the super universe capital. From the paradise viewpoint, the adjudication is simultaneous with the enactment. So from a timeless standpoint, from a paradise standpoint, paradise is the central creation, the perfect central creation, the home of the Trinity and other beings. Paradise Havona, and Havona is the perfect universe surrounding paradise. Sum total, Paradise Havona is the central perfect creation, and from their timeless viewpoint, the adjudication is simultaneous with the enactment. So in the enactment of sin, there's a line in the book. The Urantia book says, does the universal Father, the first person of the Trinity, does he foreknow sin? Does he choose to foreknow sin? And they say, we don't know. We don't know. So from a free will standpoint and a timeless standpoint, Lucifer's decision to rebel at the same time that he made that official decision, that's when Paradise, at the same time that he made that decision, Paradise says that's wrong. The adjudication from the Paradise viewpoint for Lucifer in terms of his crime, from a timeless standpoint, happens at the same time that Lucifer makes that decision to go into rebellion.